All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Monday Night Football, week number 6. We got the Commanders taking on the Bears. In today's video, I'm going to dive into this game. I'll break it down. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, make sure to keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That's where you'll find all of my final plays so that I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. Now, we have 2 Monday Night Football videos this week because there's 2 Monday Night Football games. So if you're looking for the Bills and Falcons video, that's also posted here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel as its own separate video. Make sure to check that one out as well. All right, guys, before we dive in, I wanted to let you know that Sleeper is offering an unbelievable deal right now. First and foremost, Josh Allen, the other Monday Night Football game is taking place too. They have his line at 0.5 passing yards for new users. Use the link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Now, they don't stop there. They're now offering a free $20 entry upon signup. You don't even need to deposit to get this, and you can free roll a $20 entry, $20 play. Go check it out, guys. Obviously, if you hit that $20 play, boom, you're on your way to a nice little bankroll in Sleeper, right? Check it out. Link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. They have been hammering home these promos and these deals outside of even what we talked about today. So when you open up your app, you'll probably see some additional boosts and promos and everything like that as well. What I like about Sleeper is the fact that they don't follow a fixed payout structure like a lot of the other apps out there. No longer are the days of the 2 for 2 is 3x or anything like that. No, each and every play you throw into your entry actually changes the payout dynamically, kind of like an odd system. It is really, really cool, guys. If it's available in your state and you have not hopped on it yet, what are you, sleeping? You get it? Boom. Check it out, guys. Link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. Let's get to the plays here. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know all of your favorite plays down in the comments. Absolutely love reading those like I've been telling you. And you're also helping out a bunch of other people that are looking for some more plays on the game. So get those plays down in the comments and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about it here. We got the Commanders laying 4.5 points at home. Total sitting at 49.5. Commanders coming off of a win to the Chargers, or against the Chargers. Chicago coming off 2 wins in a row and a bye week here. They beat Dallas 31-14, then they beat Vegas 25-24, and then they had a bye last week. What we're going to do here is talk about the Washington offense versus the Bears defense, and then we'll flip it. We'll talk about Caleb Williams and the Bears offense versus Washington defense, get into our spread play, our total play, and we got a few player props to cover as well. Let's get going there. Jaden Daniels and this Washington team. Now, there's a couple injuries to note here. Terry McLaurin, questionable. Noah Brown, also questionable. So 2 fairly crucial. I mean, 1 definitely crucial, and Terry, crucial skill positions there in his receivers. We're going to see a lot of man from this Bears team. And I don't know if that's exactly the best thing that Jaden Daniels wants to hear. His completion percentage drops down to 40%, as well as his yards per attempt dropping, his DVOA, his EPA, everything statistically in terms of what we look at drops against man. Now, I will throw in the caveat that obviously he's missed a couple weeks. We don't have the biggest of sample size. We don't have 5 weeks of games from him, just 3 games. But nonetheless, what we have is what we have, and facts are facts. His numbers against man aren't all that great. Now, the good news, I guess, if you are Jaden Daniels and this Commanders offense, is that we're not going to see too much pressure from this Bears squad, right? 17th in pressure rate, 18th in blitz rate, middle of the pack in terms of clean pocket percentage, bottom 5 in adjusted sack percentage, 4th longest time to throw. So we'll probably have a nice clean pocket and some time for Jaden Daniels to deliver. So what I would say is, again, back to that injuries, Terry McLaurin, even Noah Brown to some degree, having these guys healthy would be a very big swing in favor of Washington and Jaden Daniels' success. Because if he has time in the pocket, if he has a clean pocket, I expect some of these guys and these skill position guys to be able to beat their man, right? So we'll keep that in mind as we go through. But overall, I don't think it's the worst spot for Jaden Daniels. I think he can beat the man defense. We just don't have enough of a sample size or enough data that is right in front of our face as of right now because he's only played the 3 games. In terms of the run game, Washington, number 1 in the league in terms of yards per game and also in terms of yards per carry, which are two really good things to have, right? And Chicago, allowing the 2nd most rushing yards per game and the most yards per carry. So right then and there, you're like, oh my God, this run game with Krosky, Merritt, Bill should be pretty good, right? The only thing that I would say, and it kind of tempers our expectations a little bit, is that this Washington team does run the inside zone a ton, right? It's pretty much the only thing that they've been doing. Weirdly enough, Chicago's a top 10 team in terms of yards per carry against the inside zone, 4th best EPA against, best in the league EPA per attempt, 7th best DVOA, top 10 yards before contact. Really weird, right? That being said, a couple of the teams that they played that definitely would skew this have like Minnesota, Detroit, Dallas barely do utilize that inside zone. In their last game a couple weeks ago against Vegas, Vegas runs a lot of inside zone, and we saw it. Genti had a really good game. They torched them. So I do think that should be taken with a grain of salt. It's a little skewed just due to the fact that, you know, they faced a few teams that don't even prioritize that runs type. So obviously some of their numbers will look better. Overall, yeah, maybe just maybe they hindered the run game because of the scheme, but I still do think that Washington, whether it's through the air with Jaden Daniels or on the ground with Bill, I think that there's enough viable reasons out there to assume that Washington should be able to move the ball fairly successful. If we take a peek at Chicago, Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, and this offense going up against this Washington defense, there are some positives to look at as well. Just like Chicago, Washington plays a ton of man, but unlike Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams actually does really, really well against man. His YPA goes up, yards per attempt, completion percentage goes up about 6 percentage points. He has not thrown an interception against man this year, 26% DVOA in the positive direction, and his EPA 9.2. So some good numbers there for obviously him overall. The only issue I can foresee is this pressure and whether or not the offensive line can hold up. Right now, Washington ranks 5th in terms of pressure rate, 8th in adjusted sack percentage, 6th in clean pocket rate, 7th in quarterback hit percentage. Now, this offensive line has had some good looks and some bad looks, right? 14th in offensive pressure rate, 13th in adjusted sack, 15th in clean pocket percentage, 2nd best quarterback hit percentage, though. I think they'll hold up all right, a decent amount to allow Caleb Williams, with some of the weapons at his disposal, to move the ball through the air. Is it an amazing spot, an amazing situation? No. I mean, against pressure, a lot of his numbers do dip, but for the most part, I think that we'll see at least a decent presence from the offensive line. So yeah, he'll probably get hurried, he'll probably get rushed and pressured plenty, but I do think that there's the other side of the coin in which he'll have plenty of clean offensive snaps. Again, number 2 team in terms of quarterback hit percentage. That's pretty good. If they can keep him from being pressured or timed to throw high, might be a decent situation for Caleb Williams because he is so good against man. Now, on the ground, you wouldn't look at what the Chicago team has done in general and think anything's too great, right? 24th in yards per game, 25th in yards per carry. Washington ranks top 10 in yards per carry against. That being said, this is a Chicago team that runs a lot of outside zone. Maybe a little bit of inside zone, but a lot of outside zone. They barely run any man schemes. And as good as this Washington team, like I said, top 10 in yards per carry against, they kind of struggle against the outside zone, so it becomes really, really interesting. 11th most yards per carry versus the outside zone, 12th most EPA, 11th most EPA per attempt, 4th worst DPA, 10th most explosive run percentages against. So it's like, yeah, this might be a pretty damn good spot for DeAndre Swift and the offense to be able to actually establish the run game, something that they've really struggled to do. So as we've talked about both of these offenses against both defenses, there really hasn't been much friction, obstacles, or hindrances, anything like that, right? I think we can see some points in this one. I am going to lean towards the over 49.5. I've seen a couple 47.5s, a couple 48.5, so make sure you're shopping around, getting the best line, but I do think that if we can get a good number there, I really don't mind the idea of the 49.5. Now, from a side perspective, it does get a little dicey here because, again, there's two, at least from my point of view, two good cases to be made on each side there, right? But if this is going to be a game in which points are scored, and that's kind of the game script that I'm following, the game plan, right? I think there's going to be a decent amount of points, so I'll be like the over. I'm going to lean towards the team in which I do believe has the better quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and also some of the better talent. Now, I want to make sure that Terry's playing if we're going to roll with that, because I think that's going to be huge in the man-to-man coverage and allowing him to develop his routes, beat his man, and have some big plays. So if he plays, I do think I like Washington minus 4.5. If he doesn't, I still would lean Washington, just not as much. So give me the Commanders as well as the over. Let's go ahead and jump into the player prop portion of the video here. Now, guys, this is Outlier. If you have not checked out Outlier yet, make sure to do so. That link will be down in the description as well as the pinned comment. You get 7 days free by checking out that link. But Deebo Samuel, now, do I love this at 60.5 or, his receptions at 6.5? Not so much, but if we do get Terry McLaurin ruled in, I think we might get a better price or a better line on Deebo and some overreaction. So I have him here to show because he's still going to get the ball. Do you guys remember, what was it, a few weeks back? And people were like, oh, Deebo Samuel, he's not involved in the offense, not going to be. He's washed, and we took him over 3.5 receptions in that game against who they play in primetime. I forget now. Actually, we could probably find it here. His receptions, right? Must have been that Green Bay game, right? And it was like, everyone's like, oh, why'd you take that? 7 catches in that one. Deebo's obviously a huge part of this offense, and throw in the fact that, they design plays for him and everything like that. So I do like him, in this spot here to be able to go out there and make some plays, but I want a better line. So I think he's going to be super involved. He's a good look in terms of who they throw to in man-to-man and everything like that. But again, I think we might get a better line in terms of receptions and yards if Terry McLaurin gets ruled in. Let's move over to the Bears side of things. And the first one, we're looking at DeAndre Swift over 44.5 rushing yards. I already just kind of bragged about the spot that they're in. Running the outside zone should be pretty damn good against this Washington team. The problem is they've been a good run defense. I mean, look at the guys against them, right? Yeah, Algier, Genty, Zamir White, Josh Jacobs, they hit them, but Hampton didn't, Bijan Robinson didn't, even Scatabo did, Tyron Tracy. Like, there's been some really good performances out of this squad, and DeAndre Swift hasn't hit it in 2 weeks. But again, I think he's going to get the volume. I also like his over in rush attempts here. You're getting plus 114. If we look at this split, he's still the main ball carrier, right, at 52% over here. So I like that spot. Also considered him for a touchdown. But essentially what I'm saying, guys, is I like them to be able to establish the run. So yards, attempts, whatever you want, right? Plus 130, nearly plus 140 for him to score a touchdown. You're not going to hear me say that that's a bad look. Moving on to the wide receiver here, Rome Odunze. This is because of the man-to-man defense we'll see now. We remember Caleb Williams likes to throw against man-to-man. Well, Rome Odunze dominates in terms of target share, routes run, and everything like that against man-to-man and against pressure. 2 things we can expect from this Washington defense. So I like him to catch 5 balls. This year he's done it in 2 of the 4. The targets are there though. I think he can even catch 5 balls on 7 targets, which is his low so far this season. Washington, 2 wide receivers, kind of been hit or miss, but just check out last week. Keenan with 5, Ladd with 5. Quentin Johnson only had 4, but still, before that, Drake London with 8. We had Trey Tucker have 8 earlier in the year. There's some of these guys, especially if they're man beaters, we should see, get targets and get catches. So I like that over 4.5. Right behind Odunze in terms of both the target share, but also when it gets to the target share against man and against pressure, is Zaccheaus here. Olamide Zaccheaus. I like his over 2.5. Now, minus 130 seems like it's a nice little value play because this market seems to be moving towards the minus 140, minus 150. So maybe earlier the better on this one, but I do like it, and especially this. To catch 3 balls, he's gotten 7, 5, 4, and 6 targets. I do like that, and the good thing here too is he'll catch some short ones, right? Like even this one, he had 3 catches. I think he only had 24 yards. So it's not like he's going to be blowing out of the water, yards per receptions. Even his air yards, wherever they are, 14%. Like this is a spot in which we should at least get a couple, I would say, easy catches from him. The problem is, will we get the third? How much of the offense is he involved in? Blah, 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 that type of thing. But those are the player props we're looking at. And guys, just to kind of recap the whole video here, I like them both to score some points, right? Then in terms of, so I like the over. And then in terms of which team I do believe has a little bit of the edge. Commanders, if they're healthy with McLaurin and whatnot, that minus 4.5. That said, I should have prefaced this and caveated it earlier. I'd want to try and see if we can wait out, get a 3.5 to buy down to 3 or something like that, because this could easily, in my opinion, be like a 27 to 23, 27 to 24 type of a game. And it's like that 3 points would be massive. 4.5 would kind of screw you if you're on the Commanders, right? But then from a player prop perspective, I like Deebo. I like the situation he's in, but I just want to see what happens with that line. I like DeAndre Swift all the way around. Rome Odunze, I think, and that is going to have a decent game. I like his over 4.5 receptions. And then Zaccheaus here, I like his over 2.5 receptions. Both those guys, I do like their yards as well, but I do think that we'll get some quick passes because of the pressure that may be really quick, 2-3 yard gains, in which that's not doing too much for the yards, right? But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know again your favorite plays down in the comments. Make sure to check out the other Monday Night Football video that we have. Catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.